Good morning everybody, it's just after 7 a.m. here in Brussels, and last night's dinner went really well. So David Taylor and his wife Teresa, who's our ambassador, David is our ambassador here in Belgium, put on a dinner there with 4 of the executive members of the European Union New Zealand Friendship Group. So that was that was very good, and discussions were sort of apart from just being generally getting to know each other and that sort of thing, know something about each other as politicians, we also discussed many of the hot topics of the day here in Europe, and of course everything that happens in Europe, and being I believe our 3rd biggest trading partner, has an effect on us in New Zealand. So those were some of the conversations that took place in a very collegial sort of environment. This morning I'm off down to have breakfast very quickly, and then we are off to the European Parliament, because today, the first thing this morning we've got the EU New Zealand interparliamentary meeting for the first 3 hours this morning, and the topics are counter-terrorism, data protection, trade, environment, ethnic communities and diversity, science and education, and cooperation with Europe. Before you think that the 3 of us on the delegation from New Zealand just make up stuff or shoot off on our own direction or decide what we believe is important, I need to let you know that when we are representing New Zealand, we represent a perspective that has been agreed upon, and that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade provides us with briefing documents and briefing notes around what is New Zealand's position on these things. I'm not here representing New Zealand First. I am New Zealand First's representative on the group, on the delegation, but I'm not here representing New Zealand First. I'm representing you, New Zealand, and that's the same for Melissa Lee and the same for Annette King. And it's one of the things that we happen to do really well with our parliament, is when we go overseas, we represent our country. It's a united front. We leave our politics, our domestic politics at home, and there is a purpose for this visit. We're all agreed on the purpose for this visit. And so those are the conversations we're going to have today or this morning. There's a 3-hour meeting this morning, and I spent most of the evening prior to going to sleep making sure that I was up to speed on the notes from MFAT, so I'm aware of everything that's going on. It's helpful that I sit on the Education and Science Select Committee. It's helpful that I'm an executive member of Globe, who has just commissioned the Vivid report that was released on the 21st. It's helpful that I participate a lot in and around my community and around data protection, for example, with regard to my IT and communications portfolio. So all those things are helpful, but there's an agreed position and we understand what that is. After that, we've got a working lunch with the DANZ, and then we're doing a guided tour of the European Parliament, and then we've got a meeting with the delegation secretary after that. So I'll leave here. I think we're walking to the European Parliament, which is 10 minutes around the road, which is great, and then I'll be back here sometime after 5, I would say. Just a quick comment on the tragedy that took place in London yesterday. There hasn't been huge amounts of it on the news here. I think what we forget sitting in little old New Zealand all the way over there is that these nations have to deal with terrorist acts so much, well, I was going to say so much more. I mean, we don't really deal with terrorist acts. So certainly there's heightened security, and certainly it will have some effect on our delegation going there next week. But at this stage, you know, everything's still on, and life goes on. Can't allow it to stop. Okay, have a good day. Bye-bye.